When I speak of power, I do not begin with armies, wealth, or influence. I begin with the self. A man who does not know himself is already lost in the world, chasing the winds of other people's approval, their noise, their demands. Focus is the sharpest weapon, and it begins with turning your gaze inward. The weak scatter their energy across 100 meaningless pursuits, hoping to please everyone, to satisfy every impulse, to look successful in the eyes of others. But such men are already defeated because they are slaves to distraction. The one who dares to direct all attention inward, to study himself like a map of conquest, becomes formidable. He learns where his strength lies, and more importantly, where his weakness hides. He does not flee from weakness. He takes it by the throat and either reshapes it or bends it into usefulness. You will see countless men rushing about exhausted, consumed by duties that have nothing to do with their true path. They believe activity equals progress, but activity without self-focus is chaos dressed as purpose. A man may run swiftly, but if he runs in circles, he is still lost. Self-focus strips away the false pursuits and forces clarity. What is truly worth your effort? What battle deserves your time? What enemy inside you must be silenced before you even think of conquering the outside? These questions are uncomfortable, which is why most avoid them. But those who endure them grow sharp, calm, and dangerous. Understand this: your mind is a kingdom before you ever touch the world outside. If your thoughts are divided, your kingdom collapses. If your energy leaks toward trivial matters, toward the gossip of others, toward the hunger for shallow recognition, your kingdom is already weak. But if you summon your will to concentrate your firepower inward, to align thought, desire, and action on a single path, then even the strongest walls outside cannot stop you. Focus makes a man unpredictable because his moves are not dictated by the crowd's noise, but by his own hidden calculation. Do not mistake self-focus for isolation. It is not retreat, it is sharpening. Just as a blade is withdrawn from battle to be honed, so too must the mind be drawn inward to regain its edge. People will call you cold, they will call you selfish. They will accuse you of being distant. Let them speak. Their chatter is proof they cannot grasp what you are becoming, for they live scattered lives, forever pulled by every current, never anchored, never whole. And you, if you remain disciplined, will have already surpassed them. When you begin to live with self-focus, you will notice how easily others reveal themselves. The unfocused man is noisy, desperate, constantly seeking validation. He cannot hide his weaknesses because his energy is fractured. But you, by remaining inwardly anchored, become unreadable. Your silence becomes strength. Your detachment becomes mystery, and mystery is power, for others cannot fight what they cannot see. The truth is that self-focus is not natural. The instinct of men is to belong, to imitate, to blend in with the tribe. But greatness is not found in imitation. It is found in discipline, in solitude, in the cold work of turning inward when everyone else is spilling outward. And it is there, in the silence of that discipline, that clarity is born. You will discover not only who you are, but who you must become. Ask yourself how many hours of your day are wasted on battles that are not yours. How many thoughts are poisoned by the need to compare yourself with others? How much of your strength is handed over to distractions that add nothing to your purpose? Each moment wasted on the trivial is a dagger in your own back. Each time you let the world dictate your direction, you betray your own kingdom. But when you take back that power, when you concentrate it inward, you become untouchable. A man armed with self-focus does not need to announce his power. His discipline speaks louder than words. His presence alone unsettles those who cannot understand how he moves with such calm certainty. They may not know what you are planning, but they will feel it, that silent intensity, that ruthless clarity. And that, more than any weapon in your hand, will make you feared and respected. If you wish for true strength, do not scatter your attention on the desires of the crowd. Turn it inward. See yourself as the battlefield, the weapon, and the victor. For the one who conquers himself has already conquered the world. The most dangerous chains are not made of iron, but of emotions. A man who allows himself to be led by the feelings of others is not his own master. He may believe he acts freely, Yet his strings are pulled by invisible hands, by guilt, by affection, by the fear of disappointing, by the hunger for approval. Understand this well. When someone can stir your emotions at will, they already possess control over you. And what is a man worth if he does not command his own mind? The world is full of those who will cloak their intentions in the language of care, friendship, or love, yet their true aim is to bend you. They will test you with small demands, watching if you bend to please them. They will appeal to your kindness, your sympathy, even your pride. They will whisper that you owe them loyalty, or that refusing them is cruelty. And if you lack the strength to guard your emotions, you will surrender piece by piece, until your very will no longer belongs to you. This is how empires are toppled without a single sword drawn, when leaders are ensnared not by armies but by feelings. You must see emotions as weapons. Just as a skilled warrior studies his enemy's blade, so must you study the ways people attempt to wound you with guilt or flatter you with praise. The untrained man responds to every strike. He is provoked by insult, seduced by admiration, broken by rejection. But the disciplined man does not flinch. He sees the manipulation as clearly as a soldier sees an ambush. He does not surrender his judgment to a passing feeling. He holds steady, and in holding steady, he is unshakable. It is not that emotions must be destroyed. They are part of human nature, but they must be ruled. If you allow anger to rule you, an enemy needs only to provoke your temper and watch you destroy yourself. If you allow pity to rule you, anyone can exploit your compassion until you bleed out your strength for their benefit. If you allow pride to rule you, flattery becomes your leash. But if you hold command over these feelings, then anger becomes energy, pity becomes wisdom, pride becomes quiet strength. The emotions serve you instead of enslaving you. Most men cannot achieve this. They are too eager to belong, too eager to be loved, too eager to avoid being thought cruel. Their lives are written by the hands of others, and they wonder why they are constantly betrayed, constantly disappointed, constantly weak. It is because they never built the fortress within themselves. They never drew the line that no one crosses, the line of their own mental sovereignty. When you guard against emotional manipulation, you no longer live at the mercy of others' moods. People will call you cold. They will say you are distant, unfeeling, dangerous. Let them. Their words are the complaints of those who find they cannot bend you. They resent you because you are not easily swayed. They fear you because you cannot be made to dance to their music. And yet, beneath that fear, there is a reluctant respect. For even those who wish to control you secretly admire the man who cannot be controlled. Do not confuse resistance with cruelty. To protect yourself from emotional chains is not to abandon humanity. It is to recognize that your mind, your judgment, your purpose must remain your own. You may choose to give kindness, but you will not be blackmailed into it. You may choose to give loyalty, but not because you are trapped by guilt. Every gift you offer comes from strength, not weakness. That is the difference between a man who rules himself and a man who is ruled by others. You will face tests. Someone will accuse you of being heartless when you refuse their demands. Someone will attempt to provoke you into rage so they can use your anger against you. Someone will shower you with praise to see if you become blind to their true motives. These are battles of the mind, and they are more dangerous than any physical fight. If you lose them, you hand over control of your destiny. But if you win them, you become untouchable. The greatest power is to walk among people and remain untouched by their emotional traps. You observe, you listen, you even smile, but inside you are unshaken. You are no longer a puppet dancing to the strings of praise and blame. You are the hand that holds the strings, not the one bound by them. And once you achieve this, no one can rule you, because they cannot reach the core of your mind. There is a kind of strength that does not shout, does not strike, does not display itself openly, yet it is stronger than any sword. That strength is detachment. To the common man, detachment seems like weakness, as if turning away from the noise of the world is surrender. But I tell you, it is the opposite. To detach is not to abandon, it is to command. It is the ability to stand in the midst of chaos and remain unshaken, to see clearly when others are blinded by frenzy, to withhold reaction until it serves your purpose. Most people are slaves to immediacy. They feel an insult and instantly retaliate. They see an opportunity and instantly lunge at it, without thought of consequence. They are provoked, and like animals, they respond. This makes them predictable, and predictability is weakness. But the man who practices detachment does not give away his moves so cheaply. He sees the same insult, the same opportunity, the same provocation, yet he does not rush. He waits, he observes. He asks, is this worth my energy? Does this serve my larger aim? If not, he discards it without hesitation. This cold patience terrifies those who expect him to react, because they cannot control him with impulse. Detachment is not indifference. It is precision. It is refusing to be pulled into the illusions that consume lesser minds. You do not detach because you do not care. You detach because you care too much about the larger game to waste yourself on petty distractions. The world is filled with men who drown in noise. Arguments, gossip, fleeting passions, endless diversions. They are trapped in storms of their own making. But you, if you can detach, rise above that storm. From above, the battlefield looks different. You can see where others are blind. You can calculate where others only react. You can hold your energy in reserve, striking not at every shadow, but only when the target truly matters. The coldness of detachment is feared because it cannot be manipulated. People will beg you to join their drama, to take their side, to share their outrage, to match their emotions. They will accuse you of being distant if you do not. They will try to lure you with passion, with urgency, with the illusion that everything demands your immediate attention. But once you master detachment, their attempts fall silent. You are no longer swayed by the current of every mood. You choose when to engage, when to withhold, and when to strike. This choice is power. Consider how a hunter waits. He does not fire his arrow at every sound in the forest. He waits until the target is clear, until the shot cannot be wasted. That is detachment in action, patience sharpened into deadly precision. So too must you learn to step back, to pause when provoked, to see not just the surface but the hidden motives beneath. The man who rushes in burns quickly and is easily defeated. The man who detaches, who steps outside the rush of emotion and noise, outlasts them all. Many confuse detachment with loneliness, but it is not so. Detachment does not isolate you, it strengthens you. It allows you to engage with others from a place of choice, not compulsion. When you are detached, you are not desperate for approval, nor terrified of rejection. You can walk into any room with quiet strength, because your mind is not chained to the reactions of others. You do not belong to them. You belong to yourself. There will be moments when detachment feels cruel. You will find yourself withholding when others demand a reaction, standing still when others rush forward, remaining calm when others scream for urgency. They will say you are cold. They will say you lack heart. But in truth, you are conserving your strength for battles that matter. You are protecting your clarity, for clarity is the sharpest weapon. Those who burn out their energy on every small fight have nothing left when the true war arrives. But you, who have detached from the noise, will stand ready, calm and sharp. The discipline of detachment frees you from illusion. It strips away the false importance of trivial matters. It shows you what truly deserves your effort. And when you act, your action is not clouded by anger, desperation, or vanity. It is deliberate, precise, unstoppable. The detached man does not move often, but when he does, the world feels the impact. To detach is to see clearly, to conserve strength, to command yourself when others are prisoners of their emotions. It is the quiet edge that cuts deeper than passion ever could. For the man who masters detachment becomes untouchable, because nothing outside of him has the power to pull him where he does not choose to go. Every man is given a limited measure of time, strength, and will. Yet most squander these treasures as if they were infinite, scattering them on people who do not matter, on tasks that bear no fruit, on distractions that weaken rather than sharpen them. To live with power is to understand that every choice is a cut. To give yourself to one thing is to deny another. The weak man refuses this truth. He tries to carry everything at once, to please everyone, to chase every opportunity. and in trying to keep all, he loses all. The strong man knows better. He is ruthless in his prioritization. He selects only what advances his purpose and cuts away the rest without hesitation. This cold clarity is rare because it demands sacrifice. It means saying no to paths that glitter but lead nowhere. It means withdrawing from people who drain rather than strengthen you. It means enduring the accusations of selfishness, cruelty, or arrogance when you refuse to bend your time to their desires. Yet power is never won by pleasing the world. Power is won by disciplining yourself to serve only what sharpens you, what strengthens you, what leads you closer to your aim. All else is weakness disguised as kindness, waste disguised as loyalty. You must see your energy as a currency more precious than gold. Every conversation, every pursuit, every hour is a transaction. If you spend it on the trivial, you bankrupt yourself. If you spend it with precision, you become rich in strength and opportunity. But most men are careless spenders. They hand over their energy to anyone who asks for it, without thought of return. They become exhausted servants in their own lives. The one who learns to say no without apology, to withdraw from the unnecessary, to guard his energy as a fortress, this one grows in silence while others wither in noise. Ruthless prioritization does not mean cruelty for its own sake. It means loyalty to your purpose above all. You do not betray others when you refuse them. You betray yourself if you surrender your time to what does not matter. Many will try to convince you that their needs must become your priority. They will dress their demands as emergencies. They will make you feel guilty for not rushing to them. But a man ruled by guilt is never free. A man ruled by false urgency is never powerful. To live with strength is to recognize that your path cannot be dictated by the noise of others. It is you alone who must decide what deserves your time. Understand this well. Opportunities are endless, but focus is rare. The world tempts you with 1,000 open doors, but most lead to nothing. If you try to walk through all of them, you will wander aimlessly and never arrive. The one who chooses a single path and walks it relentlessly arrives at a destination that others only dream about. That choice requires cutting away, leaving behind, discarding what is merely good so you can reach what is great. It is not easy, but it is necessary. Many fear the act of cutting away because they mistake it for loss. They think saying no leaves them with less. In truth, it gives them more. Each distraction removed is energy reclaimed. Each shallow pursuit abandoned is focus restored. Each false friend discarded is space made for true allies. By removing the unnecessary, you create room for power to grow. This is why prioritization must be ruthless, because sentimentality will try to hold you back, and hesitation will waste your years. Do not imagine that greatness is built by doing everything. Greatness is built by doing the few things that matter with relentless force. History does not remember the men who tried to please everyone, who ran in all directions, who lived in constant compromise. It remembers the men who pursued a single aim with such discipline that the world had no choice but to notice. Such focus is only possible when you have the courage to cut away without regret. When you begin to live with this cold clarity, others will not understand you. They will call you ruthless because you do not bend to every demand. They will call you arrogant because you guard your time fiercely. They will call you selfish because you refuse to waste your energy on their games. Let them call you what they will. Their words are proof that you have escaped the prison in which they still live. The prison of scattering themselves until nothing remains. Power is not found in the chains you place on others. Power begins with the chains you break within yourself. The man who cannot command his own impulses, who cannot discipline his own habits, who cannot master his own weaknesses. Such a man may command armies, yet he will always remain a servant. The one who turns self-focus into dominance does not seek to rule through noise or brute force. He rules by the unshakable control he has over himself, a control so complete that others cannot help but feel it when they stand in his presence. Think carefully about this. The majority of men live as slaves to their urges. They are ruled by hunger, lust, anger, fear, pride. At the smallest provocation, they break. Their emotions are written on their faces. Their weaknesses are plain for all to see. And because of this, they are easily bent by anyone who understands their nature. A man ruled by his temper can be destroyed with a single insult. A man ruled by his greed can be purchased cheaply. A man ruled by his pride can be captured with flattery. But the man who has conquered himself, who can silence his rage, who can starve his appetites, who can reject false praise, this man cannot be bent. He is iron in a world of clay. When you master yourself, people sense it without a word. They may not understand why you unsettle them, but they will feel the weight of your calm, the sharpness of your focus, the quiet force that radiates from you. This is not something that can be faked. You cannot imitate discipline. You must live it. You cannot pretend control. You must embody it. And once you do, others instinctively recognize that they cannot shake you. They respect you, even if they envy or fear you, because they see in you what they lack in themselves. Self-focus becomes dominance because it is rare. Most men cannot endure silence. They cannot sit alone with their thoughts without reaching for distraction. They cannot resist the comfort of indulgence or the ease of compromise. They live soft, scattered lives. And when they encounter a man of discipline, he stands apart like a wall against the tide. His refusal to be moved, his ability to say no when others say yes, his cold patience when others rush. These things elevate him above the crowd. He does not need to shout his power. It is written in the way he governs himself. Understand this well. True authority is never seized from the outside first. It grows from within. The man who rules himself walks into a room with more influence than the one who tries to command with words alone. Others will follow him because his presence reassures and intimidates at the same time. They will respect him because he does not waver, he does not scatter, he does not waste himself. In their hearts, they know they are weak, and they are drawn to the strength of one who has mastered what they cannot. To live this way requires sacrifice. You must deny yourself the luxury of drifting. You must train your mind as one trains a blade, sharpened through constant discipline, honed through resistance, polished through hardship. Each time you refuse distraction, you strengthen your resolve. Each time you resist an impulse, you harden your will. Each time you stay silent when provoked, you forge armor around your mind. This is how dominance is built, not in the eyes of the crowd, but in the unseen battles you fight within yourself. There will be times when this discipline feels heavy. The world will tempt you to let go, to indulge, to relax, to surrender to the same mediocrity that rules most men. They will mock your restraint, laugh at your coldness, accuse you of being unhuman. Let them. Their words are the cries of those who cannot imagine living with the weight of true power. They serve their appetites while pretending to be free, while you, in mastering yours, have become untouchable. And know this: once you have conquered yourself, you no longer need to chase control over others. It comes to you. Influence, respect, authority, these flow naturally to the one who cannot be moved. Because people instinctively trust strength. Even those who despise it cannot resist its pull. They will gather around you not because you demand it, but because your discipline makes them feel both small and safe. You will dominate not by force, but by presence. Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of power. Men are so desperate to speak, to explain, to defend, to impress, that they empty their strength with words. They reveal themselves without knowing it, exposing their thoughts, their weaknesses, their desires in every careless sentence. And once exposed, they are no longer in control. But the man who learns to wield silence holds an invisible weapon. He gives nothing, yet he gains everything. He observes, he listens, he gathers, while others, in their noise, give themselves away. You must understand that people fear silence more than they fear words. When you remain quiet, when you withhold, they are forced to fill the void. They speak more, they reveal more, they stumble in their attempt to draw you out. Their own impatience betrays them. Silence unsettles them because it denies them control. They cannot measure you, they cannot predict you, and what cannot be measured or predicted always inspires fear. Many men cannot endure silence because it demands strength. It is easier to rush into speech, to defend oneself, to prove oneself, than to hold steady. But when you resist that urge, when you refuse to break the silence, you project a calm authority that words can never achieve. Silence makes you unreadable, and unreadable men are dangerous. Others are forced to guess at your thoughts, and in their guessing, they expose their own. This does not mean silence is passive. It is active, deliberate, strategic. It is the pause before the strike, the stillness before the storm. Just as a hunter waits in silence before loosing the arrow, so must you learn to hold your tongue until the moment comes when words will cut with maximum effect. Most squander their words like coins tossed to beggars. You must treat yours like a blade, drawn only when it serves your advantage. In silence, you sharpen your observation. You see what others miss. While they are busy speaking, you are studying. You are learning who hungers for approval, who hides insecurity, who pretends to strength. Their own words betray them. And because you are silent, you remain concealed. They know nothing of your mind, but you know everything of theirs. That imbalance of knowledge is a form of dominance greater than force. Do not think this path will make you admired at first. People will accuse you of being distant, of being arrogant, of being too cold. They will try to provoke you into speech, to drag you into the same noise in which they live. Resist them. For every moment you hold your silence, you increase your gravity. Those who mock you today will begin to watch you tomorrow, and soon they will measure their own words more carefully in your presence, as if your silence itself commands restraint. That is the proof of power. It alters the behavior of others without your lifting a hand. But silence alone is not enough. It must be paired with precision. A man who never speaks may be dismissed as timid. A man who speaks rarely, yet strikes with words that are sharp, calculated, and final, is remembered. Each time you break silence, your words carry weight, because people know they are not wasted. This is how silence becomes not only a shield, but also a sword. To master silence is to free yourself from the slavery of reaction. When others insult you, you need not answer. When others demand explanation, you need not provide it. When others beg for your opinion, you may withhold it until the time serves you. In this way, you deny others control over your energy. They may rage, they may push, they may beg, but you remain untouched, and this untouchability elevates you above them. The undisciplined man cannot resist defending himself. He rushes to clarify, to justify, to argue. And in doing so, he reveals everything. The disciplined man understands that silence itself can be the answer. He does not explain, because explanation weakens him. He does not justify, because justification grants power to the accuser. He does not argue, because argument gives his opponent equality. By refusing all of these, he places himself above the noise. This discipline transforms how others see you. To them, your silence feels like control. They sense you are calculating, holding knowledge they do not possess, preparing moves they cannot predict. They begin to measure themselves against you, and without realizing it, they place you in the superior position. Silence bends them while you stand untouched. If you would be powerful, learn not only when to act, but when to withhold. Learn to let silence serve as your shield, protecting you from manipulation, and as your sword, striking with rare and deliberate force. For in a world drowned in noise, the man who commands silence commands himself, and in commanding himself, commands all. Sharpened through constant discipline, honed through resistance, polished through hardship. Each time you refuse distraction, you strengthen your resolve. Each time you resist an impulse, you harden your will. Each time you stay silent when provoked, you forge armor around your mind. This is how dominance is built,